Welcome you guys. Welcome to this new series I am creating called Operation Debrief, where I bring on female guests and I have them get their point of view on men, relationships, and going after men's most sought after questions. Now, my name is Alexis, and today I am joined by Ashley. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Ashley. I'm 24. I am single, ready to mingle, and I look forward to talking with you today.
Beautiful. I'm super excited. So, just to start right off, what is your most ideal man, right? Like what is their personality like? What are their looks like? Like, what, if you were to describe, the most perfect man to you, what would that look like? Your dream man.
I would say my dream man is someone who is just open-minded, charismatic, funny, and loves living life, wants to live it with me.
Beautiful.
Wants to experience life with me.
So, looks don't mean anything to you?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Got it!
Let me preface by saying let me say that they matter to an extent in terms of I don't want them to be unhealthy, live an unhealthy lifestyle, not prioritize their health whatsoever. I think there's an extent of that matters. They have to be able to put in some effort towards themselves.
Right.
But like in a sense of conventional
swashboard abs and cut jawline and all that stuff,
doesn't matter.
As long as you're able to go on a hike with her, I think you're fine. If you're healthy enough to do
kind of some basic
activities, go skydiving. She just went skydiving for the first time. It was pretty gas.
It was amazing.
But if you're able to do those things, right? Like healthy has a very different terminology than I think a lot of people think it does.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can have a little bit of give.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You don't have to live an extreme lifestyle,
for sure.
Just care care about yourself.
Exactly. And for you said so looks don't matter at all for you then?
No, I think if you have a great personality, your looks mean little to nothing. Yeah, there's a small amount it does matter, right? We all do that. We're all guilty of that.
Right, exactly.
However, personality will take it home every day.
Will trump everything. Okay. So if they have a great personality, looks won't, like, it almost makes them look better, right? But say that they had an ugly personality.
Right. No. If they had an ugly personality but were the most handsome man on the planet, I would not do it. I would have zero interest. Right.
And I think that's completely valid. Yeah. It can kill whatever good looks you have or whatever you got going for you. So personality is...
It trumps all.
Is there any other personality traits or anything that you look for necessarily in your dream man?
I would say kind of all basic stuff, right? You have to be able to be willing to make sacrifices. You can't be closed-minded. I think you have to have kind of a light attitude about life. I don't think you can be super serious and closed off and straight-edged in the sense of you're living your life and that's all that matters. I think you have to be able to put yourself in other people's shoes, like me, for an example, if that's who I'm dating. But
be a little bit more empathetic.
Yeah. Charismatic, for sure.
Right,
but,
funny.
Yeah, funny. Hilarious, even. I love a hilarious man.
If you can make a woman laugh, you see all these butt-ugly comedians.
I know.
What do you mean by that?
Pulling these baddies, bro. So, like,
models.
Exactly. Humor can take you a long way.
It will.
So,
it will.
Jumping into limiting beliefs, right? What do you think men sell themselves short on?
In what sense?
So, like, when it comes to men, or, like, the men that, like, are in your life, right? Like, whether it be family members, friends, past exes, or whatever the case may be, like, what do you think they have struggled with within themselves, right? Like, their own limiting beliefs. What have you come into contact more with?
I think, at least in my own personal dating history, I think they were very self-conscious or insecure, which then will be projected onto your partner every single time.
1,000%.
You have to take responsibility for it, or you're put into a position where you're taking responsibility for that. And I think a lot of men in particular struggle with that, in just in terms of that external validation, or needing a woman to, or a partner to kind of correct that for them.
Right. Continue to validate them, right? But, like, again, there's people can only give so much, right? You have to keep your glass full to some extent, or you can't keep pouring it out every so often, right? And again, if they're in a situation where they need a little bit more help with something they're struggling with, or if it's depression or whatever, right? Like, you can spend, like, your partner is there, your girlfriend is there to help you through that, right? But if it's a long-term thing, right? Like, if you're dealing with depression for years, right? It's hard to expect somebody to continuously give and give and give and give for years on end when they're not receiving anything in return. So that doesn't make sense. But again, like, long-term, it doesn't make sense. So
it's not sustainable.
No, it's not. And it's not fair to the other person either.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, it does suck that someone is depressed, right? But you need to help. You need to figure that out, whether that be with a paid professional or your own means in a healthy way, journaling, whatever the case may be. But you shouldn't offload that all onto the person that you are closest to or the person that you care most about.
Right.
Right.
I agree.
It's just not fair. And they're not licensed or knowledgeable on that regardless. So do men have to make a lot of money to date you?
No, absolutely not.
What?
I think that they have to be responsible financially for themselves.
Right.
But I think that's the farthest I feel about it. I don't need someone to have to provide or take care of me. I will do that on my own accord.
Right.
And much like on the flip side, I don't want to have to provide or take care for a man 100%. I think there's a good give and take where I will do this and you will do that. And I think that is, at least for me, the way it should be. I think it should be a fair split.
Fair enough.
Yep.
That's what's up. So, do you think men are creepy, or the majority of men are creepy? And if so, what could a man, like, maybe they don't necessarily know that they're coming off as creepy, but what are things that men can do to come off less creepy, I guess? Like, if they were to approach you in a bar or a bookstore or wherever you're at, a plant store, how can men come up to you and you feel not creeped out?
Yeah. I would say coming off too strong or too aggressive right off the bat will always throw me off, or I feel like the type of girl that we are all looking for, right?
Right.
Right?
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 Gay!
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you're too strong-willed right off the gate, it's gonna throw kind, caring people off.
Right.
I think you have to approach it with a sensitivity that you want to get to know this person on a deeper level, not just in a freaky, creepy sort of way.
Right. When we've had conversations about this prior, but, like, being genuine, walking up to somebody, right? Like, when you are genuinely interested in somebody, whether it be because of their looks or the book they're holding or the plant they're holding, right? Trying to spark a conversation, genuinely going up and starting a real conversation with them.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
You're already, in a sense, gonna come off less creepy, right?
Yeah.
Because you're more empathetic, ideally, when you're approaching them. Like, hey, like, I have, like, 5 plants like this before, like, da-da-da-da-da, right? It's a better segue. Not even segue, because I shouldn't even say it like that, but it's just better to be genuine.
Yeah. It's better to show real interest and find out if that works versus coming off like you already know that this is how it's going to work, or that I am going to throw myself back at you because you're throwing yourself at me.
Right.
I think it's a lot easier to digest on the receiving end if it is just genuine and relaxed and more sensitive, not aggressive.
Right, for sure. So, moving into, like, first impressions and, like, flirting, right? What do you usually notice about guys before they've even spoken their first words to you? So, like, if most women, or at least almost all of them that I've come into contact with, whenever they enter a place, they're scanning the room, right? Like, whether it be for safety or just to become aware of their surroundings. But they're taking note of things, right? Like, they're taking note of the guys in there and the girls in there too. So, what, for you specifically, do you usually notice about a guy before, like, say he even comes up to you and starts talking to you?
I think I notice first their level of upkeep.
Right.
Do they look raggedy? Do they look like they put in effort to come out tonight and come talk to people or whatnot? Right. I think I read a lot into their facial expressions. Do they look approachable? Are they super serious and kind of withheld? Are they
Right.
open and kind of bubbly and having a good time?
Okay, so first appearances are a big deal.
Yeah, I think they do matter.
Right.
Can influence.
For sure. And like if you're showing up in raggedy clothes, man, like stains on the clothes.
Right.
If you
Holes
stink
in the clothes,
right,
wrinkled clothes.
Exactly. Or if even just like hair, greasy, nasty, right? Like if your basic hygiene is not there, bro, like they're not gonna give you the time of day. Yeah. Really. And they shouldn't necessarily have to.
Right.
Right.
You're
so
not making a good first impression.
Exactly.
Right.
Like your first impression happens before you even speak a single word to somebody. Right? People are, again, noticing you before you even walk up to them. So you want to give yourself the best opportunity possible. So put on clean clothes, shower, and...
Brush your hair.
Brush your hair. Brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth.
Please. No one wants to kiss somebody with tooth butter, bro.
We don't do that here.
Wait. I almost just threw up. Tooth butter? No.
You know exactly what I was talking about.
Spam that was disgusting in the comments down below. What the frick?
That's what it is. Tooth butter. Y'all, every single person that is watching
you guys know about
that is watching
butter?
this would know, but maybe they don't even know the terminology, but you know.
No, I've literally heard enough.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm really gonna throw
and that's what they're gonna feel like if they see that.
That's literally what we're gonna feel like. We're gonna vomit.
Okay, so say the guy has approached you, right, and is trying to court you in a way, right, get to know you, maybe flirt a little bit. So what do you think most men, like, trip up on? Or, okay, let me ask this. What is the most ideal way to flirt with you, right? Like, is it, like, the corny pickup lines? Like, what would be the most accurate way for someone to, again, situational, but try to flirt with you?
I think being just open and genuine will win it in my books every time. If you're being goofy right off the bat and kind of making jokes and not staying in this bubble of, I don't know, just being like scared or really reserved, it will win every single time. I think if you approach the situation with an interest to get to know me and you're not super strong and off-putting, you're just being yourself, I will want to know more about you.
Exactly. And I think men, you think you have to like have these super smooth lines and do all this stuff, but like for most people, like the cheesy pickup lines are a great way to, I mean, break the ice, but also like you're not taking yourself seriously, they're not taking themselves seriously, because like everyone knows that it takes some sort of confidence or just courage, right, to walk up to somebody that they think is attractive or that they want to get to know more about, right? On the receiving end, you know that it took courage for somebody to walk up to you and start a conversation, right? So just don't take yourself as seriously. Maybe try to calm those nerves a little bit. Like it's not as serious as you think it is. It's not as life or death as you think it is. So just have fun. Again, like what she said, be genuine. And if they want to get to know more, they will. If they don't, cut your losses, and somebody will eventually want to get to know who you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
let's go.
Sorry, you guys, I got a call, so we had to cut and come back. But anyways, so jumping right back into the flirting with men. So when do you think it's okay for men to start being physical? Like, so again, this is like based off of the like first meeting, right? You don't necessarily know who this guy is. And I'm not talking about physical, like very advanced sexual practices or touches, but like what I'm talking about is like the touch on the leg, the touch on the arm, right? Maybe the upper back, maybe even the lower back. That's a little risque though. But when do you think would be a good time to introduce that into a conversation that you're having with the person?
I think if it is all going really well and you are both showing each other the same amount of interest, you're both reciprocating the same energy, I think it's worth it to try and experiment a little bit.
Right.
To test the waters and see how they react. And if it is super negative, then pull away and then maybe try again later. But I think in the same sense, if you are unsure, if you're super uncertain in terms of if it's okay, it's always worth something to have a conversation over, or
for sure,
just ask. You'll never go wrong by just asking. But yeah, I think you should be able to kind of tell the signs, or you need to be able to read signs in terms of how is it receptive.
For sure. And like open body language, right? Like if she's like her body's open towards you, that's usually a good sign, right? If she's closed off, she's not necessarily enjoying the conversation or is just closed off in general. And if you're going to do a touch, right? And you can even touch hands, right? Depending on where her hands are. If like it's on top of a bar top, you can do like one of these things or one of these. But don't try to overly touch somebody because it's going to come off as weird and a little bit creepy. So as you're progressing through a conversation, right? And again, keep them very light. Don't linger in the very beginning, right? But like you can do like a little like ha 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 ha. That's completely fine. If she reacts negatively to that, if she tries to brush me off exactly like that, or does like one of these exactly, obviously not as extra as that, but like if she tries to like slide out of it, she didn't want to be touched, right? So maybe 10 minutes down the line, if you're still talking and it's still going well, you can maybe try to do another touch. But again, if she's acting the same way, she just, as a person, might not want to be touched or doesn't like being touched by strangers. So you have to respect that boundary, and you just maybe just don't touch her for the rest of the duration that you're speaking with her. But yeah, so be very weary about the touches, the physical touches, but just know that you can do them, but you have to use some sort of discernment when you do it.
Right. I agree.
You don't want to come off as creepy. You don't want to come out as weirdo. So just play it safe.
Yeah. Read the room.
Exactly. So now, let's say, whatever, they were able to flirt with you effectively. They got a number. They got a date. They got a Snapchat. I wouldn't recommend asking for Snapchat, actually.
Are you serious?
Ask for her number. But you ask for those things, and you have moved into a talking phase now. So does it necessarily matter how long you are in the talking phase with somebody, right? Is there a certain period of time where, like, okay, we're in the talking phase and I want to move it to the dating phase, right? Is there a time span for you?
I don't think, for me personally, there isn't. I think if we're talking and things are growing great and we're still having fun,
right,
and we're hanging out and we're seeing each other and we're becoming more involved, personal with each other,
right,
I think it could go on for as long as it needs to.
Okay.
I think if there are circumstances that are keeping us in the talking stage, like I need more time from this, or he needs more time for that, or we both don't feel ready, I think those are important conversations to have.
Right.
But I don't think there needs to be a time limit on how long you can talk for. I think if things are going great, they're going well, then all is well in the world.
Fair enough. And so to throw a little friends situation into the mix, so like when Ross and Rachel were on a break, a little bit different, but say you're in the talking phase with somebody, do you expect, for you personally, someone to be exclusive, right? So you're not necessarily dating, but you're exclusively only talking to one person. Is that something that you look for, or do you not necessarily care if they're speaking to other people at the same time?
I don't necessarily mind it in the talking stage. I think there are conversations that need to be had in terms of everyone. Does he care if I do? And I think it is worth talking about.
Right.
However, I don't think it is a requirement to be exclusive in the talking stage.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
Yeah, I think if someone asked me to do that, I would expect the same from them, or, you know, I would respect being told that that's how they felt. For sure. But I wouldn't expect that of someone.
Okay. So when it comes to the talking phase in itself, right, do you prefer like talking on the phone, like a FaceTime type of deal, or do you prefer texting? And obviously it could be a toss-up, like a little mix of both, but is there one that you prefer more to happen?
I will go off a limb here and say that I prefer texting over FaceTime.
Really?
However, I prefer face-to-face time over everything. I think us texting is really just very minimal in terms of what's going on, and we're really just texting about when are we going to see each other next, or what are we doing
setting
next.
up the next plan that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I would also have to agree. I think, again, you don't have to necessarily communicate your whole life with the person that you're interested in. I don't think you should, right? 2 separate lives. But I think men get really tripped up on like how to text, or how are women going to take this certain text or this certain tone, or whatever the case may be. I would recommend men, if you're really super nervous about texting and how women will take it, I just highly recommend calling, right? So then you're defeating that whole purpose. Either that, I used to hate emojis, but emojis kind of help convey a tone as well.
They do.
Right, but again, don't make texting your main form of communication, right? Only really, I mean, you can, right? But like mainly text to set up a time when you guys can meet face to face. That is the most ideal.
Yeah, I agree.
Beautiful. So for relationships, right, you're already dating. What are your non-negotiables, or like your, I'm using this term really loose, like expectations. So what are the things that like has to be had in a relationship for you to get in a relationship with somebody?
I think you have to be honest with each other.
Right. Fair enough.
Where you're at, how you're feeling. I think it's super important. If I felt like I was lied to or information was being withheld, then I'm not going to trust you from the start,
Right.
and then there's no point to pursue that any further.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think other than that, I think you just have to be secure within yourself, and not any sort of codependency.
Right. Not healthy, you guys.
No, you have to be happy on your own to be happy with someone else.
For sure. And like obviously everyone has peaks and troughs of when they feel upset or just angry or depressed or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's just about being human. But I'm not gonna speak for her specifically, but you have to be secure within yourself to a certain extent. You have to not seek external validation from somebody else or need some other sort of wanting or someone else filling a hole for you feeling okay about yourself. You have to be okay with yourself enough in order to pursue another relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know if you necessarily agree with that. I was just speaking from my point of view.
I agree. I
okay.
agree.
Cool.
I agree.
Yes, ma'am. So then, is it I think it's like funny, right?
Yeah, funny. I do enjoy funny. You have to be funny. And I think that kind of goes hand in hand with just like easygoing or open-minded.
Right, exactly. Not taking yourself too serious.
Yeah, if you can kind of laugh at life, then
right,
golden.
exactly.
You have to have a sense of life outside of the relationship, outside of...
Have your own life.
Yeah.
Be able to, I mean, you guys are coming together as two counterparts, living two separate lives, but making it better for the both of each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So, a funny little side note. We have this thing. Mind you, she's my best friend. I feel like I should clarify this before we speak any further. But there's been this ongoing joke about her being the alpha dog, and myself and a couple other people in our our friend groups. We all are her. What are they called? Betas.
Beta pups.
Beta.
Obviously, she's a beta pup.
Right. Whenever she howls, I howl. But we've done this in public, right? So, like, again, just, like, not taking yourself serious. Like, it's, who cares, bro? You're having fun. Yeah. You might feel a little, what's the word? Embarrassed in the moment. But we done did it in the middle of a flipping 7-Eleven one day, bro.
That was awesome. I'm so glad.
That was great. The worker howled with us.
Yeah.
It was pretty sick. I might have to insert a little clip or something.
No, seriously, it was all howling together.
We can do tomorrow.
Type. Alright, anyways, let's how I'll start it off.
Alright.
Oh, oh, oh! That's alpha.
It was sick. Yeah, no, I'll insert the clip.
That's alpha.
Alpha for sure. Anyways, but yeah, don't take yourself too serious. Now, how does from what I've heard from a lot of other women and what I try to incorporate when I'm in a relationship with a woman as well, but how can a guy create a safe space for you to be with, like, in a relationship, but also maybe even before then, right? Like a talking phase, or maybe even just approaching you. What do you think are good practices to create a safe space for you to be yourself and you to be comfortable?
Yeah. I think it goes kind of hand in hand with don't be creepy.
Right.
So, like, be gentle. Don't be too strong or forthcoming or
crude,
blunt.
Overbearing.
Yeah, right in the beginning. It's not a good look. Unless that's specifically what you're looking for, which isn't going to be a fulfilling relationship.
Right, exactly. So, I don't necessarily think, when it comes to creating a safe space for other women, at least what I do specifically, and it was a little different because women, most of the time, know I'm a woman. Sometimes they think I'm a man.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
But like you have to give them enough what's the word? I mean, obviously space, but you have to give them these subtleties where they know that you're on their side, right? Like I'm not speaking over her. I'm not trying to personify her or speak of her as an object or an item, right? Like in just like assuming that she's gonna do whatever you're talking about, whatever you're saying. Like, oh, like you're gonna come home with me tonight. No, I'm not.
Actually,
right?
I'd rather not.
Maybe if this was like the 5th time you guys hung out and went on a date or something, maybe you could say that. Maybe, depending on who she is. But the first meeting is just like that. That doesn't make a woman feel safe, right? And if she says no, back off. Don't do anything, right? Like having these practices, and also when your ego gets hurt or your pride gets hurt because maybe she's not interested, you don't throw it back in her face. Like everybody has a preference. You have a preference. Maybe you don't like certain type of woman, and that's okay. That's your preference, but she also has one too. So you just have to keep that in mind. And it's not her fault that you're not her preference, right? You just have to go find somebody different, somebody new, right? So make sure to keep that safe space for women when you approach them, when you speak to them, when you date them, talk to them, whatever the case may be.
Be gentle. Don't be too off strong-putting.
Exactly.
Stiff arm.
Exactly.
It's just going to repel and push.
Precisely. And also, so leading into the next topic, which is a perfect segue, sex. So how important is it for a guy to be good or intimate in a romantic sense, right? Like, and again, this is subjective to everybody, right? And it's going to be very situational, but what is, like, is it very important for a guy to be good in the bedroom for you?
I think it is for me personally. It's an activity I enjoy doing.
Right.
What did he say?
Right. A lot of people do.
Right.
Me as well.
Right. But yeah, I think it does matter. It's not like, in terms of being good, that part I think is way open for interpretation.
For sure.
I think sex is important in a healthy relationship, or a healthy, happy relationship, a long-term relationship.
For sure.
But I think in a sense of good, it just means being caring.
For sure.
Being open and honest with each other in terms of what you each want to do, what we each want to do.
For sure. Exactly.
How we want things to go and whatnot. But
yeah. I mean, sex is a whole... I mean, intimacy in itself is just a massive communication. Like, you have to communicate with potential partners about a bunch of arrays of different things, right? So when it comes to being intimate, right, is there, like, do you prefer to talk about, like, what you're comfortable with before you get intimate with somebody? Do you like to let those things be known during the act, or maybe even after? Like, what would be your preference?
I wouldn't say that we ever really have to talk about it for me personally. I think, at least in my experience, we're pretty good at finding out what works for each of us while it is happening. However, if anything came up where I didn't want to keep going, or he didn't want to keep going, I don't mind communicating it at that time, or even before. If there was ever a time where someone was unsure of what to do or whatnot, I would be more than willing to talk about that prior. But not required for me, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it would happen naturally if it needed to.
For sure.
In my experience.
Very cool. And I think, as just a base rule, what I would recommend a lot of men do just in general is, I mean, communication's a massive thing, right? But the woman is going to be she's the boss in the bedroom. I mean, she should necessarily be the boss regardless of whatever, right? But whatever she says should go, right? And obviously, if you're not comfortable with a certain specific thing that's happening in the bedroom, right, you obviously have the opportunity to communicate that, and you also shouldn't do what you don't want to do, right? But what I mean by she's in charge is that if she says something, you have to listen to it. In a sense, like, if she wants to stop, you have to stop. Like, you should stop. At that point, in that scenario, it is not consensual anymore, right? Because she does not want to do that anymore. So she is the one in charge of all of that. I don't care if you're about to see the heavens.
Right.
Unfortunately, you might have to go with your hamster.
Yeah.
But, like,
yeah.
it's being intimate with somebody, it's a lot of trust also, but you have to be able to communicate these things. And if she communicates that, you first off stop, but second off, you shouldn't blame her for any of that, right? You shouldn't expect her to have you finish, right? Like there's nothing extra on her that should be expected, I guess, in a sense. So yeah, really,
just
that's
be respectful. Be respectful.
exactly
Be
communicate.
Open. Yep.
Right, and if you're nervous about trying something new, or if you want to try something new and you think she might be iffy on it, just be like, even if it's mid-act, like, hey, can I do this? If she says no, don't do it. If she says we can try, okay, maybe go a little bit slower because it's something new that she's willing to do, but you don't know if she likes it, right? So again, a lot of communication, a lot of respect, a lot of just vulnerability as well.
Yeah, and most importantly, go with the flow.
For sure,
You'll figure
exactly.
out what you need to do at the end of the day.
For sure, I mean,
it will flow. Naturally.
Humans, any species is meant to reproduce, so there is some sort of just like innate thing. And also, if you've learned anything on porn, it's not real, it's not true to a certain extent. Most of it isn't. Don't go off of that.
Yeah, just figure it out.
No one gets trapped in a
Ad-lib it.
washer.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. Or trapped under a table.
Right.
Boring.
Darn it.
Darn it! So take everything
Yeah.
you see on there with a grain of salt. It's not necessarily usually how it goes in real life.
Yeah.
So don't set your expectations on that.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying. Anyways, so in your opinion, what are the biggest problems you've experienced with men? And this doesn't even have to necessarily even be in a romantic sense, but like family, friends, the whole array. Just any men you come into contact with.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it prior, but just being insecure, not being able to regulate your own emotions, and
Right.
and putting that responsibility on your partner or your sister or your daughter or whatever.
Right.
I think there is kind of the stigma around men and their own mental health and how things should be and how they should be or whatever.
For sure.
I think they look into it, unfortunately, too far, and it's not necessarily their fault. I think they're kind of trained to do that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But putting that responsibility on someone else, I think, is their biggest downfall.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of pride, a lot of ego. Again, because of societal norms, and men can't cry, men can't show emotions. It's a whole load of BS. It's a whole load of crap. Feel your emotions. That's really it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Become secure within yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, objectively, do you think women have a part to play in these reasons as well? So, like, do you think women kind of enable or egg on?
Yeah. And much like we were talking about, the societal norms are
Right.
partially our fault as frick. I
Right.
think we play into, there's a group of women who play into a part of how men should be and
Right.
how they should act and how they should feel.
I need an alpha man.
Right.
I mean, she's already alpha. Anyway, no. But
No.
I need an alpha man. I need someone who...
Yeah, right. And then I think on the flip side, there's women like how I've been in the past, where I enable it and I take responsibility
Right.
for those feelings, and I try really hard and for really long
Right.
to try to fix it, which it's not sustainable. It
No.
leads to resentment and
Right.
hurt feelings or whatever. It just creates a whole big fat mess. So.
For sure. And I mean, women are just made up differently than men are, right? Women are more emotional. Women are more likely to be more empathetic and be more understanding within certain situations, right? So I think they usually tend to stick out longer, and it could also be a double-edged sword and enable as well, right? Because it's a very hard line to try to help a loved one or a significant other, but also, like, are you egging it on? Are you furthering the problem,
Right.
or are you actually helping?
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give men, right? So out of the topics we've already talked about, or maybe some that I haven't even brought up, if you were to give one or two different things, like main pieces of advice for men, what would it be when it comes to women, when it comes to dating, when it comes to being a good guy?
Yeah. I would say the most important, above all trumps everything else, is just be yourself.
Right. Fair enough.
I think the right lady, the right partner will stick that out, will love
sure.
who you are for who you are, because that is who you are.
Right.
I think you have to have a sense of stability within yourself. And I think you have to be open-minded to accept someone
For
into
sure.
your life and to
For
let
sure.
them see those vulnerable parts of you
1,000%.
and know you for who you really are.
Right? I have to agree. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for joining me today, Ashley. What did you think about today?
This was amazing. I'm so thankful, guys, for this opportunity. I hope I taught you all how to find an alpha wolf. An alpha wolf, independent baddie,
Right.
who will support you through it all and help.
Exactly.
You guys will help each other learn and grow and be happy.
For sure. 1,000%. If you guys want any other sort of questions answered that we maybe didn't get to, or if you want us to speak on, or me and whoever is here to speak on a certain topic for any a longer period of time, go into more depth, just go ahead and let me know. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for coming again.
Thank you.
I thought we were going to do our handshake.
That's so too.
Get the thumbnail. Peace,
Signing
you guys.
off. Peace.
Later.
Nice. Ah.